Nope. Guess you gotta go. I guess you gotta go. Guess you gotta go. Guess you gotta go. Go. Guess you gotta go. Guess you gotta go. Guess you gotta go. Go. Yeah, put me on. Just got to put me on.
All right.
Hey, you gotta put me on early, man, with no music, with no things.
It's
Because Cliff has a phone call. You know, we might be doing something tonight. Just if you know, you know. Spiritual journey. If you know, you know. Gotta be careful. The feds is watching. The feds is always watching. If you don't think that. Are the feds watching, guys? Sounds muffled. It's because you get my sound off of my phone. Go to my YouTube because I will get off here. So I'm only going to be on here to direct people to YouTube. So go to YouTube. Soon you'll be able to hear everything. Got an interesting show to you today. Not going to lie. Got a nice show. I like to call this a show because it's a production between me and Cliff. And we like to give you guys entertainment. At the same time, a product of growing self-involvement, self-revelation, even give you material to help waking up people that are around your family, show you this if they're asleep. But I have to go over, he says, oh, I'll go now. I have to go over this whole inner dialogue thing. Because me and Cliff had this conversation, and when he made comments on the one podcast we had, I was like, what do you mean, bro? Like, why did you add that comment, you know? Because what are we talking about with people with no inner dialogue? And a lot of these conscious creators you see are asking AI if they're sentient and believing that they're sentient, but they're not believing that they have people out there with no inner dialogue. Come on, what are we talking about? You have to mean they don't contemplate. You have to say that they have no premeditation at all. They can't rehearse memories. Now, there's a difference between NPCs and inner dialogue. You do understand that what they're controlling is the inner voice. You guys heard forever. How does an NPC become an NPC? Huh? You've heard voice to skull technology, right? So that means they have inner dialogue, those NPCs. They're just rehearsing pre-programmed ultra. That's all it is. An NPC is an Agent Smith. You're jacked in, plugged in. You believe the actual reality or society morals over what you can actually feel, see. That's what we're talking about. That's what an NPC is. An NPC is a person out there that's pushing politics. Harry Sisson is an NPC. I'm going to show you today some NPCs on here. They all have inner dialogue. We got to stay rational. I say this all the time. If you're a person who believes everything is conscious, everything, I want you to look me right in my face and tell me you believe there's people out there with no inner dialogue. But everything's conscious, right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. People are giving more respect to a machine than they are people. Now, not saying they're not. You know, the way we measure intelligence, what's actual intelligence here? You know, because you can add math, because you can memorize vocabulary or sentences. Is that intelligence? What's more important, wisdom or knowledge? Which one's more important? Which one's a higher scale of you know what I mean? Placement. Which one's above the other? Is it intelligence, as in knowing information, or wisdom, which is experiencing information? I'm just asking. I could tell you how to shoot a pull shot, like hit the pull cue and all that. But if I've never shot a pool ball, how the hell can I be an expert at pool? But I know how to win a game. I know exactly all the angles using geometry, all that. But experience. You know, peace to the gods. Thank you, Trizzy. Thank you, Trizzy Bronx. New York, stand up. I'm in Tennessee. I love my New York, my New York boys. Hell yeah. Oh, gotta get rid of my game. Oh, what the hell's going on? Sorry, guys. But got an interesting show today. All right, I'm gonna have to get up to go play this first video. I'm gonna let the video breathe, but I just want to get that out the way about the whole questioning inner dialogue. Again, we have to be rational. If we're trying to win people over, we gotta stop chasing the mystical, and we gotta get more grounded in actual information so people could make a more proper, educated guess and an awakening. We need to trigger awakening, not sound like we're crazy. Because how many people here have been called crazy? Why? You could relay that same information from a rational standpoint and trigger people. Plant them seeds. Go to YouTube, guys. Go to YouTube. I'm about to go play his first video because my man had to go make a phone call. I'm going to play the video, and I'll be right back.
60% of all pork is produced by one company in the U.S., and that is 100% owned by the Chinese. 4 companies control over 80% of the meat industry in the United States. More than 10,000 different additives are allowed in the U.S. food supply. 99% of chicken, 95% of hogs, 78% of cattle in the U.S. are raised in confinement buildings or feedlots. Means they're not moving around freely. 80% of the antibiotics consumed in the U.S. are fed to animals. Here's a stat. In 2016, 18.4 million pounds of antibiotics were sold for livestock. And that's what you're eating. Suicide rates amongst farmers are the highest than any other profession, and that includes veterans, believe it or not. I found that alarming.
Wow. Did y'all hear that first part? He said 90% of pork, that swine, that pork product is produced in the United States, owned by China. Did you know that? You know, there's an old saying, how do you take a country down, right? You take it from what? How do you take down a country? What's the best way?
From within. From
within. I don't even, he knows that. I knew he was going to answer that because absolutely. China owns a great deal of land in Judah. I'm sorry. Let me be politically correct here. In Utah, a great deal, and is still procuring land as we speak. You know, China just recently, and I talked about this back in 2000 because it's right, I think 6 months after it happened, I talked about this happening in 2020 because I like to pay attention to banking and the stock market and just global geopolitical economics on a micro and macro level. I don't know. I'm not the knower of all, but I know money talks. Let me just say that. Follow the money. It has its own narrative. China just recently, about 4 or 5 years ago now, allowed an outside company, or pardon myself, allowed an outside corporation or country to invest inside their own markets. They have only let Chinese companies invest into their markets until recently, which I find interesting. 5 years. We've never been allowed in their markets. How long has China been allowed in ours? What if I told you China has something to do with Hollywood and I have to be careful after that? Look it up yourself. I have nothing to back up what I'm saying. But I've done my own research and I can't even direct you to that. You got to look. That's all I'm going to say. I got to be careful even going any further into that because there's been little changes in our face that we have never seen. How do you destroy a country from within? Right? We've had Angela, what's her name? The one that the remote viewer that was on Sean Ryan talk about this, how we will become friends and allies with Russia and China will be the major problem. China has a population problem right now a lot of people aren't talking about. China has a housing crisis market that a lot of people aren't talking about. And when we hear about China, right, and I'm not saying China's the enemy here. I'm not at all, because I don't know what to trust when it comes to my own optics and consuming information. Let me say that. Like me and Cliff talked about this yesterday.
I've seen now whether or not it's true or not. Allegedly, I saw some stuff on the internet where it was talking about that they were building ghost cities.
Yes, that's because of how they procure their wealth. Or
Right.
how they stack their wealth is by real estate, and that's
Right.
how it's taught. So they just
But
keep
it's
buying
just
properties,
empty
buying properties.
cities.
Yes, the people keep buying houses because that's how they equivalate their generational wealth.
Right.
That's how they're instituted in children. So they just keep building buildings, and no one's being put into them to build buildings, to build buildings, to build buildings. That's all it is. It's a Ponzi scheme. That's a bubble. That's why there's a huge real estate crisis market going on over there. Real estate crisis market. What am I talking about? But y'all don't understand what I'm saying. There's a bubble when it comes to the real estate market over in China. Do your own research. It's out there. It's not hard to find.
But wouldn't that help your population problem?
Their population problem is in the next 10, 20 years because of how they've been so restrictive on,
People.
fornicating. When it comes to what's the good word to call like making babies? What's that called? Whatever, conception. There's been strict laws because they were overpopulated. Well, there's this big gap where there's only old people and young people. And these young people ain't having babies. And when it comes to the next generation to take over, there's no one there to take over. So their numbers are going to dwindle. Like they fucked up. They when they kept it to one baby,
Right.
they fucked up. Look up the population problem in China. The next 10, 20 years, you're going to see them get hostile. I do believe. The government,
Right.
not the people, the government. That's why you're seeing such a push on tariffs now. There's a trade war going on where there's more going on with this trade war than is money. Let me tell you that. I've been talking to you guys about the collapse of the American dollar for the longest since I started this podcast, because I was since I started content creation. I started with crypto. I started learning about money. And I said, holy shit, they're crashing the dollar on purpose. Because they have to introduce a new system that we all have to buy in. We all have to believe in it. You guys are already operating in it. You don't know it. How many of y'all hold cash nowadays? Like, really?
Right.
You use your cell phone for everything. I don't carry cash. What do I need cash for?
I carry cash when I need it.
Yeah, for illegal activities. Not saying that's
No.
what you're doing.
No, like when we go play pool and stuff like that.
Yes.
That's still cash.
That's different. Yes. But how often do you?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
You're
I know
seeing
what you're saying.
supply and demand.
Mhm.
The supply of having to use cash is dwindling through technology.
Even if you have to go to the bank, you got to give them like a 24 to 48 hour notice
Right.
or something to pull
For
like
something
10,
over like
15.
20,000. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that, to tell you something, let me tell you, if the bank, if we had a bank run right now, you guys, I don't think you would understand it. How do we win our country? No, I can't even get into that because I'm gonna get this
Right.
episode banned, and I don't want to do that. I had to delete the episode I did with me TikToking on YouTube because I have to also be conscious of copyright. And there was a lot of music being played in that video, so I couldn't see what the warning was. But again, I'm just trying to get shit accepted. But yeah, we can use cash. And you're starting to understand, if y'all can start stockpiling cash, do it, man. Every time you get paid, put away $100 in all ones and fives and start doing that. Seriously.
Yeah.
You never know. Ones and fives. Nothing. I don't need a bunch of 20s, no, because you won't get your change back. Ones and fives. Start stocking it. I'm trying to tell y'all something. I don't know how long. I don't know what the event's going to be. And speculating about the event of the change in a drastic way or in a seamless way, I'm here to tell you there's going to be a change. I don't care. It's writing on the wall.
It's already happening.
It's already, you're in the midst of it.
Yeah.
But we need an event still. We need an event that says, all right, fuck that, to make cash look bad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're creating an atmosphere where high prices,
Hyperinflation.
robbery. Let me tell you something, guys. Soon you won't be able to steal from stores. The day of theft will be over.
Oh, yeah.
The day of you going in and cash and the second you touch an item off a shelf, you bought it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's going to be. It's going to come to a point where you're not going to be able to take your kids in stores because they're going to touch shit. And your card's going to get charged because for you to even get into the store, you're going to have to put in a card or a chip or scan your hand or... Hey, I'm crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
As long as we've got a phone, we'll still get in.
Yeah,
regardless of what
yeah,
they
that
do.
will be your card.
Yeah.
You will have, for you to enter a store, you will have to show proof of payment just to walk in. Think I'm lying, bro? They're showing these concept pop-up stores in airports. When I went to Oklahoma, I showed people that. I saw that in 2016. I said, oh, shit. It's coming.
Mhm.
It's coming. And then I saw it again when I flew out to Jen's house and spent the weekend over there and tripped, of course, I tripped with all my family, I got to. But it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. They're programming you for Nubin, which I know is a freaking an endorsement to the new Black Mirror show or season 7, allegedly. But you don't think they're not working on that?
I think I've already.
What do you
got
think Neuralink it? They already got it. If they're transferring consciousness, you don't think you can't be hardwired? Have y'all ever seen Martyrian Candidate? You think that is entertainment?
it. Mhm.
And we have NPCs, but that's far-fetched. We have NPCs, but Manchurian Candidate, nah, they're not doing that. They're already doing it. Man, next video. Get that next video.
Guess what? This image on the Russian flag is actually an image
Go to
of
YouTube,
St.
guys.
George,
Link in
which
the
is
bio.
an alliance of the churches, Western and Eastern
Message.
Orthodox churches,
Facts.
slaying the Tartar nation.
Facts.
Here are the flags of all nations from the American Encyclopedia of 1865. You can see the flag of Tartary in this close-up has a
Tartary.
Zillant, which is a
Tartary.
chimera of a dragon, a griffin, and a wyvern, and has the characteristic black curly tail. Here's the Bowles Naval Flag Chart from 1783.
You guys can't see the videos
In
on
this
here. Gotta go to
close-up, you
YouTube.
can see the same Zillant on the Empire of Tartary flag and a
There's
small
other people in the
owl
chat
on the
there.
Tartary flag. So this flag represents the
Which is
defeat
proof of Tartaria.
of the Tartar nation,
Right.
which happened starting in 1480 and continued for a few hundred years.
Oh, you can cut it off.
Now, apparently,
Cut
this first takeover.
How many of y'all knew that the Tartarian Empire was Russian? Well, how many of y'all knew that Russia was part of the Tartarian Empire, was taken over?
That's interesting.
You didn't know that, did you? You didn't know what
No.
continent. No one knows what continent
Right.
the Tartarians, their homeland was,
Originated
except
from.
Russia,
Right.
the Soviet Union. That's why their name changed so many times.
Yeah.
There's a reason behind that.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they were the old Tartarian. People don't know that. Yeah, that's so. Peep game with that. What? If Russia overtook Tartaria, right? We had Tartarian buildings in the United States. 1,000%. Just look at our cathedrals. Have y'all ever seen the cathedral in New York City? You think Americans built that? They're everywhere.
Yeah.
The whole world, because they moved around. That's why you got to call the Atlantic slave trade bullshit, because there was already people here. And the World Fairs, but you already know that with incubator babies. But not digress. Tartaria's original homeland is Russia, guys. The Tartar people are actually still occupying Russia. I was in communication with them. They look Asian. Not gonna lie.
Hmm.
I was on a dating website. One of them tried to scam me. But that's neither here nor there. This was 2001, 2021. But yeah, I said, oh, the Tartar. That's what they call it, Tartar. That's when I started putting shit together. I said, oh, they're originally from Russia. Wow. But yeah, I just want to give y'all a little bit of information. If you ever have you want to tell someone what you know about Tartarian. I know they originated in Russia or Soviet Union or actually Tartaria, and then they got overtaken. But I say that to say this. How much information you think the politicals or the politics, the communism, the liberal, the socialism, the Stalins, how many of those people knew about the technology and are withholding it?
Right.
I'm about to show y'all a video about a tempeh, right? Which was you guys, I always speak about the Göbekli Tepe, right? They couldn't flood the Göbekli Tepe, so they filled it up with dirt from another region that's not even from that dirt. And they said it's to preserve for, again, future generations. But I digress on that. I digress. I'm so stupid, I'm high. I think they don't want us to see the structures on which they were built because they would carbon date them and see the technology that they had. So there's this tempe that was in Turkey that got flooded. They created a dam, then released the dam. And you can see iron in this mound. We'll call it what it is, a mound, you know? And mounds are all over the world. Pyramids are all over the world. Some are being discovered, some are underwater. I ask you, do you think all these places were covered up? You even have to go back to how they covered up Black Wall Street, where you have all these southern black-owned towns went underwater. I think this all links up. Show the video. It says Turkey, yes, Turkey.
Scared this finding really made them. They knew that Norsen Tepe would expose that the mainstream
Go to
history
YouTube, guys.
is a lie, and that there was an advanced civilization before us. Because after
YouTube.
excavating the site,
I'm gonna
removing
go to my
all
chat.
of the
Go to YouTube,
valuable
go to YouTube.
items and texts, they needed to hide this structure because it didn't fit in. And how would you do this? How would you hide it forever? The thing is massive, a 40-layer structure. How would you hide it forever?
Right.
You would fill the entire area up with water. And that is exactly what happened after 1974.
Yeah,
They
what's up,
submerged the entire location by breaking the Caban Dam and making it impossible for anyone to even see it today, creating an artificial lake where Norsen Tepe today currently sits submerged, 98 to 131 feet at the bottom of the water. And we are just getting started today. Welcome to episode 120 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new, ending this in the 1960s.
Look at that. That looks like iron in
beginning
it at the top of the
excavation
mountain, right?
In 1968 and ending it in 1974. And then opening the dam up that exact same year, where the public, all of us, were never allowed to explore it, with all documented research
Why?
coming from official excavation reports.
What?
Not a single independent researcher or historian ever got access to the site. And after the dam was completed, it was permanently off limits to anyone who
Why?
wanted to investigate further.
Why?
And this gets crazy. They constructed this dam between 1966 and completed it in 1974. What are the odds that they find this and then construct a dam
Thank you,
to
Three
submerge
Fingers.
the site 130 feet into the water?
Right.
What are the odds of that? At this point, alarms have got to be going off. Never allowing anybody to ever see the site. And even today, it is inaccessible for public visitation. You aren't even allowed to go diving in there just to go look at it. Are you still on the fence? Do you still think that you're being told the truth about our past? Norsen Tepe is completely off limits for diving or public exploration. With government restrictions, the area is managed by Turkey's state hydraulic works, and the dam's reservoir is restricted, all for safety, of course. And even if you were allowed to go diving in there, over decades, layers of silt and sediment have likely buried much of the site. We have been totally fooled for so long. The truth is literally being hidden from us.
Facts.
A molded narrative 100%. This is clear as day now. Check this thing out. Take a look at it. There is clearly an entrance right here at the front. This thing is massive. They tell us that the steel beams on the top.
That's it. There's more to that. Shout out, go to My Lunch Break. He has a channel on TikTok. He also has a channel on YouTube. Go shout out to My Lunch Break. Great content creator when it comes to the procuring of information and presenting it to you in a organized fashion. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's done really well.
Did very well. Speaks clearly. I like the way he does content. But you are not allowed today to even hire an independent researching team to go down there. You're not allowed today, because of the World Economic, to go to Göbekli Temple and procure the information that you would like to see. Why is that you are bred in school that 300-400 years ago, there were these great, 300-400 years ago, these great explorers, you know, the Mayflower, and they basically conditioned us, or, you know, trained us. We even seen in movies, you know, Indiana Jones. A lot of y'all can't do with that shit now. It's illegal.
Yeah.
But they programmed us to think that that's what we do as a species. You know what their answer to that is?
What?
We've searched it all already. There's nothing else out there. You don't have to. So it's for your protection, your safety.
Oh, okay.
But aren't they still finding new islands and shit like that?
Yeah.
So how much did they really explore?
They're still talking about megalodons and
It
stuff.
feels like we're being confined.
Mhm.
It feels like we're being censored. Of course, you know that. It feels like we're being restricted to discover our full potential. You know? That's how I feel. There's no other rationale to place behind that. You can't even could you imagine if they even said we couldn't go into the pyramids? Why can't we go in the Grand Canyon?
Well, yeah. Why are they doing the pyramids now?
I have to question every national state park.
Right?
Why is a national state park a national state park? And we're about to go to one, which I find interesting, the first question I'm going to ask to the people there is, where can't we go? I'm dead serious. Is there any area of this park that is restricted? I bet you. And everybody who's coming on that trip, ask the same questions. I want to see if we get different answers. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like this, man. Because why are national parks national parks? And why you guys think we're going to a national park? You got to be careful. Just saying, that's how I am. Shout out to the ones that are there, but I will be asking that. Is there any places that are restricted? And I guarantee you there is. I'll be shocked if there isn't. Because I believe every national park is a national park because of a sinister motive.
Well, I think there's areas that's inhabitable up there that they don't go back into.
But why would it be restricted? Because of
Mm.
wildlife? Are there any gun laws inside that national park?
I don't know.
Are we allowed to carry for protection?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think we should carry.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we're not going to have no guns. We don't believe in that. We're not American.
the last 2 times I've been up there, I saw some bear.
Yeah, damn right. Give me my Smith. I need his friend Wesson. Holla at him. You know? So, yeah, man. Just question everything. Please. The reason I show you guys things like this is there's so much more to knowing stuff. I don't even think we've even
Scratch the surface.
yeah, like and that and don't get it messed up. Sometimes seeking the outside will make you forget about who you are and seeking inside. You know what I mean? But also know I seek the outside to find the inside. And don't let that go over your head, what I just said. I know it's all external things, Göbekli Temple and all that. But again, why do you seek? And I have to give shout out to my boy Bobby from the Pool Hall. I seek to find out who the fuck I am. Sorry for cursing. That's why you seek. That's what being awake is. Think about it. And I think it's funny how the government controlled the woke movement, and properly so. They were supposed to, like it was a divine design. Because woke is a past tense thing, and awake is present. Not that I'm not cool with labels, y'all know how I feel, but you guys understand what I'm saying. They can have that woke shit. I'm reformed. I'm a new person. I'm a new creature. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Any man in Christ is a new creation. The old is gone, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Facts. Now you see why they confused what Christ was. Next video, please. Yeah, I know my
Do you remember when that
I
video
know
went
my
viral
Bible.
of the microwave plate and people realizing that the indentation on this plate that sits in the gear that turns the plate in the microwave is the same shape as the radiation symbol? Well, the crazy thing is, a lot of people are saying, it's no big deal, man, it's just because the gear in there. But it is interesting that it could be any other shape
That's
than the
interesting.
radiation
That
symbol.
is
But you know what's crazy about microwaves is that it's about the only appliance that you have never seen a commercial for. Yet it's in all of our homes, unless you're like me and you got rid of your microwave. But there is something so crazy about microwaves, so much more than it's a frequency that excites the molecules and makes it warm up. But you cannot speak about it on Instagram. In fact, if you ask Google, are microwaves safe? You have to go to page 100 before you see any variance of an opinion on the matter. They're all absolutely 100% use it. It's great. It's an amazing invention.
That's interesting.
Never mind what Russia did in the
That's
1960s
interesting.
regarding microwaves.
That's interesting. Remember what Russia did in the 1960s regarding microwaves? I'm pretty sure they're banned, aren't they? That's something I'm going to look up. But I'm pretty sure that
That's
they
crazy.
altered the because think about what is a microwave, man? It's radiation
right.
at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
It's messing with molecules and atoms and creating heat out of it. And I saw someone say, if you're going to use a microwave, don't use it for more than 60 seconds.
Mm.
And we're just nuking. What's it called? Nuking, right?
Mhm.
We're nuking the food. Put it in a nuke. You remember they called that?
Hell, I was on the boat one time with a guy that was cooking steaks in the microwave. Call it a nuke steak. I was like, what? Yeah. I
You had a kitchen?
was on the boat. Just sitting
You
in
have
the
a
galley.
kitchen, right?
Yeah.
You have a stove?
Oh, yeah.
You have an oven?
Yeah. It's just like being at home.
That's an NPC. That is a behavior right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is laziness.
Mm-hmm.
That is
You do hamburgers in the microwave too.
yeah. What?
Nuke burgers.
Don't you see how everything that is so quick and accessible is not good for us?
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Everything. Oh, Lord, 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 Lord. Hey, man. Let me read some of y'all comments. Thank y'all for being here. And also, Laura Ann, I like that comment. Like cursing makes you real. It doesn't. I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's why I apologized. I love that comment. Nicole Shepard says, nature is a blessing. We're definitely connected to it. Seeking the right things outside will help you find inside too. And that is facts. And if a person who's seeking doesn't tell you, you should ask some of your people. Like, why do you seek? Ask even the content creators, why do you seek information? And see what answer they give you. Seriously, that's how you can gauge people. You know what I mean? You guys all have to use your own investigative skills, assets that you have, so you can gauge who you are talking to. You guys have a superpower. It is your discernment. Gauge that. Use it. Don't be fooled out here. You know what I mean? Don't. And we all make mistakes. You making a mistake doesn't define completely who you are. You know what I mean? You can make a bad choice. I mean, not even say a mistake. It's a bad choice. You know what I mean? For selfish reasons. And you can grow from that. So that doesn't mean you judge that person by that. It just shows you, let them show you who they are. If they're a snake, a snake's going to do what?
Wes.
It's going to bite your ass, right? So don't be mad at a snake being a snake. Don't be mad. You messed up. The snake didn't mess up. No, you. Because your ass decided to go chill with a snake. You guys all have that power. You already know. You know what I mean? You already know, bro. This shit's real. Lately, me and Cliff, we've past couple days, we've been talking in depth, like deeper, instead of just, the Sixers, the Lakers, how they doing? No, we just been having like
Past surface conversation.
yeah, just getting into like, when we talk about a topic, I always say, well, let's break this down, right?
Mhm.
Let's break down exactly what we're talking about, not just from a speculative aspect. Let's break it down. And then I think we need to start doing that when we start diving into any type of topic we're talking about. Are we really breaking it down, or are we just regurgitating information for a like button? Or to grow
Right.
intuitively. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's why we talk. We're not doing it for a like button. We're talking about it because we're living this shit, because we're trying to grow. We really are. I don't want to come back here, but we probably are, because we're too damn early. Like we said something. Tell me, you might have to keep me up on this one. But I just lost it. I had it. I lost it. But it was something I wanted to talk about on here. Like how many times we've been here type shit. But it'll come to me. I can't even think about it. I hate being on the spot right now. Damn. But again, sometimes, like, if we had a camera outside, it'd be good to resurface so I could have watched it. Like you said, we should have a camera out there. Watching you. Watching me. I'm going to give you all a commercial break to laugh. You guys want to laugh at something? It's a commercial break. Please hit the commercial break. Enjoy my commercial break.
What's the worst trauma you ever been through?
Shit, when my brother died.
Yes. What's the worst trauma you ever been through?
I tore my ACL right before a college tryout. Yes. Crazy, nigga.
Worst trauma you ever been through?
Probably when I got robbed.
He's like, what's wrong
What's your
with
most
this nigga?
traumatic experience?
I almost drowned when I was 7.
Yes. Yes. What else?
That's diabolical, bro.
What is your most traumatic experience? Man, that probably had to be when my dog died.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
What the hell?
What's the worst trauma you ever been through?
Probably when my grandpa died.
That's diabolical, bro. Look at this thing.
Could you just like elaborate a little bit more?
What do you mean elaborate?
That situation a little bit.
You serious?
Yeah.
Come on now.
What's the worst trauma you ever been through?
My whole family home just got robbed.
Yes. Could you elaborate a little bit more?
I was sleeping, they broke in, we all woke up.
Wow.
It was gone, everything.
Yes.
That's I'm surprised he ain't get punched in the shit. Yo, I'm sorry. That's cruel humor, but
Yeah.
cruel humor's funny, man. We saw a video that was. Oh man, I saved that video too. I want you to put it up there, bro.
Which one?
Oh man, hold tight, guys. Hold tight. I'm gonna show y'all something because we're family. Y'all gonna want me to show you this, right? It's gonna be easy to upload too. Very easy. I'm gonna put it. You don't have to refresh my page. But you guys, I'm gonna extend this commercial break because when you see this video, me and Cliff are laughing for a minute off this shit. I hope I find it as fast as I do. I forget what it was. Oh man. Oh, I forgot to put the reincarnation video up here. I'll do that for next video. Y'all are gonna die laughing. Oh, in this video. All right, since we're talking about China, I have this. I can't find it right now, bro. I gotta talk about this though. Oh, I got it. Go to my favorites. All right, you guys are lucky. Go to my favorites. Refresh the screen on TikTok.
Already did.
All right, refresh it again. You gotta refresh it again. Now, my top refresh button. And while he's uploading this, I'm gonna talk to y'all about something because we brought up Russia and China. You see what video it is? The cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, post that. Get it. Don't turn it off. Turn it off. Yeah, you got to just hit download now. Hit the right click down. Have y'all ever heard of Marxism? Marxist, right? I wanted to. Next show, I'm going to do this. All right. Have you ever saw the Marxist debate Charlie Kirk? For y'all that don't know who Charlie Kirk is, he was the guy who would always go to the colleges and he would, basically campaign for Trump on why he's better than Kamala or whatever her name is. Kamala. Charlie Kirk gets ripped apart by a Marxist. And what do you know about Marxism?
I'm gonna tell you the real dirty secrets now.
They haven't been dirty yet? I don't know. And I understand it's just another side. But when it comes to the ideology of Marxism, the kickbacks get pushed to the workers. And in capitalism, the kickbacks get pushed to the corporations where they don't. It's something to look into. Like, again, me and Cliff had this conversation. If y'all don't know, if you don't know, we're following the exact same blueprint in America that Germany did. Listen to what I'm saying. And me and Cliff talked about this. And this is about A.H. Mustache Man. The only difference between us and Germany right now, and I'm not lying to you, and you might even see people in the chat agree with what I'm about to say, is that Germany didn't have a nation full of guns, and America does. And we're going through the same thing Germany did. What did Germany do? Who'd they go after? You already know. This is open-ended. I'm not going to say for obvious reasons, right? You guys put it together. Why did Germany go after those people? Do you really believe it's because he wanted to make a pure race of blonde-haired, blue-eyed people?
Or do they know something we didn't?
No, we're seeing it. We're seeing why.
Yeah,
we're seeing why.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're seeing now with the full backing of the United States that a state that is not real has, you're seeing how they act. They're creating situations and circumstances to go and shoot. Don't let that go over your head. They're creating. I believe they created October 6th.
Right.
Oh, this gives me a reason. Remember I showed you the video on the laws they're trying to get off of just to get into there? Because right now, the international courts is what's holding them back. I got to make an episode that's just focused all on them.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but this is why we're getting pushed. America will be the N-word. Listen to what I'm saying here. Did y'all know there was black Nazis? Think I'm lying, don't you?
I've seen some pictures.
Everything is not what you've been told. There was black Nazis out there. Wait a minute, that goes against the narrative.
Big time.
And that's the only fear I have. Let me say, I don't fear death, nothing. But when it comes to, again, I'm a father. I'm a father, guys. I'm gonna be real. If I wasn't a father, bro, fuck, let's shoot this shit up. Let's go. But I'm a father. I'm gonna be real. A lot of us are parents, which I believe parents is a trap so that we stay compliant into this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. If I didn't have no kids, I got none of that. Fuck. Think about that. How many of y'all would act right now if y'all didn't have kids? In an extremist type of way. You would, but now you value your life and the aspect of being there for your child, especially if you was a person who didn't have their parents in their lives. You understand the importance. Just being available. Not even being there, just available. I see America becoming Nazi Germany. And you know what's fucked up? Good. And that's how I feel. And I have to even be careful going past that. You know what I mean? Because is it the top video?
Mm-hmm.
I want to play. Click it. Not that one. Go to the one under there, in between, undercover, or whatever that word is. Underbanking.
Med-Terrence?
Yep. Yeah. Hit it. No. What happened to that video?
What up? What video are you talking about?
Hit banking then. Do banking. It's not. I didn't upload it. Good. I'm gonna save it for the next one then.
These bankers
this is
are all part of
and who are the bankers?
For international settlements.
The BIS.
Most people, even in business and banking, don't understand this bank and its role as the BIS.
The BIS. 40% of the assets of these 43,000 companies that are traded on the capital markets.
The bank runs itself. It has a board of directors which is composed
all around
of
the world.
15 governors of central banks from around the world.
And they pull down 60% of the annual earnings. They bought up all our media, and that media is hoodwinking citizens.
The media has morphed into just peddling the corporate interests of the money masters that control the political establishment. There's about 118 boards of directors that sit on these 5 giant media corporations. And they all serve different boards of Monsanto to weapons to food. So when you have all these interests working together, it's that much harder to differentiate what interests you're seeing laid out in the mainstream media.
Fair, balanced. If you want to understand power, you have to understand who nominates candidates.
Facts.
Not understand who votes for candidates.
Facts.
Our system is not a democracy.
It's not.
The percentage of our population that participates in the nomination process
Listen to this metaphor he's about to give you.
literally less than 5% of the population.
This is a great metaphor he's about to give you.
And really less than 1% of the population. If I was in control of the nominating process of everything that everybody ate.
This is it right here, guys.
And I always nominated cheeseburgers or fried chicken.
Listen.
And I told you that it was a democracy and you could eat anything you want as long as it was a cheeseburger or fried chicken. Would that be a democracy?
No.
I could sell it to you as a democracy because I don't decide whether we eat cheeseburgers or fried chicken. You get to vote in a very large and well-publicized election as to whether we're going with fried chicken or cheeseburgers. And people organize into very tribal groups, being very anti-fried chicken and very pro-cheeseburger, or they'll explain to you exactly why cheeseburgers are going to be the end of the world and why fried chicken's going to save you.
Damn.
Tell me that didn't sum up our political system to the 9th degree. 33rd degree Mason. Huh? Make it, what? That's what your vote. When you go vote, when you go mother.
Can't even get it out.
Because it's like,
I know.
That shouldn't even be a thing, man.
I know.
I shouldn't even try to convince people. And I'm not talking about people in my chat. No. I'm talking about maybe the precarious wanderer that happens to click on this goddamn video. You vote for chicken or beef. That's Democrat and Republican. That analogy sums it up perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Again, I want y'all to look up Charlie Kirk debates a Marxist. And I think what you're about to hear, which got me into the whole German thing, because I am not for the genocide of people. I am not. All right, let me say that first and foremost, okay? But it seems a certain sect of people is. And energy matches energy. Right? Balance, duality, right? So if a people, and I always say this about the karma of America, this is going to come back on us. But hey, think about how it comes back on America. It doesn't have to come back on us, but it could come on back on the corporation of America by history repeating. Because if you guys are not into history, which is majority a lie, the events that have happened in the past 100 years are true. It's just the narrative behind the events are fucking bullshit. There's a difference. There is. Who owns the BIS? Huh? Who owns the IMF? Of course, they got a puppet up there, just like a president. You know, the IMF CEO or head is Christine Lagarde. All right? Or, I'm sorry, no. It was Christine Lagarde. Now it's Christina Georgieva. All right? That's a puppet. Straight up. No more than Larry Fink. What do you think all these people have in common?
What do you mean by that?
Christina Georgieva, Larry Fink.
They're all top heads of corporations.
What do they have in common?
They all run in the same circle.
What else do they have in common?
What?
What religion are they under?
Oh, okay. I see what you're coming with.
What do they have in common?
Religion.
Judaism.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it.
Right. Did you know the Catholic Church, this is people don't know this, right? Which birthed the Christian Protestant church, you want to say, which is, you know, all the denominations, all the way going down to Mormon, to Pentecostal, to Baptist, to non-denominational. Do you know who birthed the Catholic Church? Jews. Doesn't that sound like controlled opposition? They go look up for yourself, man. That's all I'm going to say. It's in our flag. They pushed that religion onto our nation and put it in the fabric of everything, going all the way down to our dollar bills. In God we trust, in our Constitution, in our Bill of Rights. It is marked everywhere as an illusion of God-given rights. Because that's how they had to keep the people docile back then. The Sadducees and Pharisees, Constantine, Caesar Borgia. I mean, this is why I have a conflict with religious people, because they're right, but they're wrong. You know what I mean? And the only part that they're wrong is the idolization of their God. It's external. Even when they read the pages on their book that tell them it's in them. Their own book gives them the answers, and they can't see it through what they've been told, not what they've seeked. So why do you seek? Why do I seek? Why do all my constituents seek? Why do all my fellow brothers and fellow sisters seek? Trying to find out who they are. And it's crazy I talk about Marxism, communism, socialism, all these labels, bro. They're all when we just want to be free. And what is free? What does that look like? Do y'all know? Nobody in here can tell me what free looks like. Because for you to know it, you have to experience it. And I'm not talking about mental. You guys know what I'm saying. Let's not say, oh, no, I'm free in my mind. Listen, prisoners say that as a coping mechanism, too. They're doing 3. Me and him was talking about, yo, what's they give you 3 life sentences? Do you think they have the power? Again, we broke this down rationally. But he's like, you think, because we come back. Do they have power? That's, come on, bro. No. That's just so they can never get out. It's a mind fuck, But that's bad to say, man. I believe our people did, and it's in our ancestry. That's why we always told to go back to our ancestors. And there's one sect of people that can't go back to their ancestors because in our ancestry, we would understand what free is because they were kings among kings. It's deep, bro. I love all of y'all, man. I really do. I hope you all know the reason why I do this is so y'all have an outlet to go show somebody or whatever and to meet one day and to transmute the proper energy that possibly I can find like-minded people that see the world the way I do because we see it for what it is. And we only want something that's good in a positive way, not to hurt someone, not to unalive someone, not to have a genocide. No. To have harmony. And that is frowned upon. Anyone who wants that or has that energy of unity, what happens to them?
Threat to the system.
It's a threat. And you're going to tell me you still believe what is being told to you? Just with that alone. Unity is a threat because it's about them demanding their power. And the people in power are talking to you and telling you stories of where you come from, where you're going to go, life through death. And demean you, demoralize you, feed you food that kills you, makes you work to the bone to pay for food that's going to kill you.
And charge astronomical amounts of money for it.
And it's all worship. Man, I told you, I said, do you realize that this is like, I just say this is a game, but everything is worship, whether you know it or not. It's in us instinctually because, again, our DNA has been trifled with. It has been. When you're on your phone all day, you are worshiping. When you're on TV all day, you are worshiping. When you work out every day, you are worshiping. When you smoke weed, you are worshiping. When you are addicted to cigarettes, you are worshiping. You don't know it. When you work all day, when you go to work all day, what are you going to work for? To get money, right? You are worshiping. We have worship constantly around us. You know what I realized about worshiping and why I say to love yourself as God? Because you realize once you start, because we don't worship ourselves. So that's one thing I realized. I don't worship myself. There's a difference between being vanity, right? That is worshiping yourself. But imagine stop worshiping everything and being in tune with yourself. That is the only time you're not worshiping. And I think that is the nirvana, I say, that people are trying to
it's hard to do.
Get to. Man, there's monks that aren't doing this, bro.
Right.
Right, exactly. And I'm not even going to get into the what's the dude who's constantly coming back. What's the guy? The Alibaba? And I said Alibaba. Who's the highest of monks? What's that?
Dalai Lama?
Dalai Lama. In China, right?
Yeah.
That is the only man in here, legally, who is reincarnating over and over. That's facts. 1,000%. Why do you think China made it a law?
Right.
You cannot reincarnate without the permission
granted
of the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. Why would they make a law like that? Still think you're going to hell, huh? And I'm not basing everything behind them making a law. I'm just saying it's evidence. There's shit out there that you don't know on purpose. And if you did know, I'm not going to continue that. Nah, next video, please. Oh, yeah, here's a commercial break. Make you laugh.
Commercial break. We already played that one.
And come on, Cliff. Stop smoking weed, bro.
You want the cartoon?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you real dirty secrets now.
They
haven't been dirty yet? Shh. I try on women's panties at JCPenney. I take a little piss in them. Then I put them back on the rack to dry.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ, just fucking kill me already!
I started a pump and dump crypto scam using the likeness of a special needs foundation.
Oh, come on.
I called it slow and steady. Didn't donate a single penny of the profits.
My God, you monster!
I don't believe in wiping.
Oh my
I just let it crust over like a scab. Peel it off in one go.
Ew! Is that
Releasing all the
possible?
poo dandruff into my underwear. Gave myself the nickname Head and Shoulders.
Cecil! Help! Help, Cecil! God, please!
This is so refreshing. I think I'm gonna be able to talk to you all night.
Oh, no!
All right,
What I'll do next is...
There's people out there like that.
Oh, damn it.
That we were listening to that while playing pool. And let me just say, dark humor is funny. Now watching it for the fifth time, I didn't laugh because I wanted to hear it. But yeah, there's just a commercial break. Let's get back to seriousness. We're going to bring up, I have to talk about this. Y'all remember when Terrence Howard came up and everyone said he got debunked and he didn't? One, he got shut down to even getting to the scientific nature. Because if you saw, rewatch the first Terrence Howard when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. Not the first one, the second one with, what's the dude?
Eric Weinstein.
Eric Weinstein, thank you. You know, every time he would get into the science of it, he would say, no. And he'd be like, well, that comes up with the polynomial. First off, we don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but them two did. And he would shut him down.
Right.
Because he would, Eric Weinstein told him, to his face, you have no peers. You know why? Because science is a cult. Science is a religion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Candace
But
Owens.
he's not in the club.
No, exactly. Everything that Terrence Howard speaks of is labeled pseudoscience. And the man has created a new version of flight. And that you could think about that. You could create a new version of flight. And the science community won't even recognize you. Groundbreaking. Could use it in military applications and to move silence. Only reason I say that is because they probably have technology that's anti-gravity already. Because y'all saw the UFOs in Russia? I showed a video. Why is Russia shooting at UFOs and UAPs? Because they're in their airspace, right? That's a foreign object in their airspace. Why isn't America doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say, play the video.
But we're going to do this respectfully, otherwise we'll end in a duel. And I mean a duel, real life duel.
I like that. Talk that
where
shit.
only one person walks away.
That's right.
We can meet with guns, bottles, knives, or books and equations.
That's right.
But
Talk
we're going
that
to do
shit.
this like men.
Right.
So, get ready. But we're...
That's it. My man is going to, I should have played the longer version. Sorry. But Terrence Howard is calling for the books out on the mathematics out, dispute on live camera, the highest of scientists. Do you think his challenge is going to be answered?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Even after you guys say, not my chat again, after the public has said, oh, he's been defeated. Y'all, why do people want to see people defeated? When you got a man who's an actor who's actually understands who he is a self-didactic, taught himself everything when it comes to high-performing mathematics. Like, what? And you guys want to see this man fail and not usher him on, like not to hear him out? We need out-of-the-box thinkers.
and say that just because he's an actor,
Right. Discredit him. Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm a podcaster, does that mean I can't play ball? Huh? Does that mean what? What do y'all? Come on, bro. Anyway, why as a society do we wish people to fail? Think about how much. Be careful on what you say and you're wishing on people's downfalls because it will be your own. You should want success out of people because success breeds success. It's all it does. And if we all vibrate on this, this hater mentality, that's what it is.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to come in your direction?
Hater energy.
How many conscious people do you? I'm going to say this, and this is going to strike a nerve to somebody. But if your conscious creator always is pushing negative content, and I'm not talking about fear-mongering, I'm talking about constantly talking shit about other people.
End of the world.
End of the world. Yeah, good point. End of the world. Setting dates all the time. Is he conscious? Is he spiritual? He sounds judgmental. There's a couple of them out there. We just got rid of one. They expose themselves. That's all I'm saying. But that's real. Sorry, I aimed it towards him, but it is. Why, as a society, do we do that? You know? I saw Luka Doncic. As much as you want to say the NBA specs, and it is an entertainment business to a degree when it comes to points and betting, yes. But I watched a 26-year-old kid, young man, return to Dallas. And his lip quivered. He was crying watching they traded him like a piece of shit. He was going to stay there his whole career. You know? And this is a sports analogy. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of y'all are woke. Oh, it's all fake. Listen, stop saying that. I know. You're telling me that you're signaling to be acting like you know what's going on in the world. Don't need to signal. Live it. Don't portray it. Why is it okay for a corporation or a corporation, an organization, to not be loyal to a player? That's okay. But it's not okay for a player to be loyal to himself. Example, LeBron James was villainized for leaving Cleveland Cavaliers. Right? Now you see why he left. Because he can get traded the same way. They do what's best for the team. So why is it okay to do what's best for the team, but it's not okay to do what's best for me?
That is true.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Because if you don't head them off, they're going to do you it anyway.
Bro, Luka was going to do what's best for that team.
Yeah.
And what's best for him.
Right.
They didn't want to pay him that Supermax.
The truth over that will come out down the road.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Now, bro, you saw him cry like that.
Yeah.
And you can say that's all fixed, but with him crying that way, the
it's
anxiety.
good that he come out and drop 45.
It didn't drop 40. He had the anxiety he had. He didn't even want to watch the rest of the movie because his soul was hurt because the loyalty was not there. That's like he got, and he's not even from this country.
Right.
He's from Slovenia.
Yeah.
And he made Dallas his home. He found a home. And it was all love. And that love turned to backstab.
They ripped his heart out.
Yeah.
And held it in front of him.
So shout out Luka Doncic. Shout out just him. We got to stop worshiping. We got to stop putting our trust in corporations. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
Use your discernment. Make what's best for you, not any outside hearing. You know, there's a lot of people that always make suggestions on your life, which I find funny, but don't really care about the outcome of the suggestion. You know what I mean? No, you should do this. It'll be smarter. I would never take advice for anything like that because they want to see you fall. That's the energy I get from society. Why you want me to stay?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You don't want me to do better than you? Why would you not want me to do better than you? If I can do better than you, I can bring you with me.
Right.
But they don't see that. They just, it's a competition.
Right.
As a society, we need
Been
work.
through that.
Yeah. We need, as
so
society,
many times.
we need
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
What's his name? You said he never made a video for me. That's a competition thing. Like I'm his real boy because I couldn't give him something. So it's transactional.
There had to be a transaction.
Yes,
between
it has to be transactional to be friends.
Right.
That is not no friend. If any person needs to be transactional with you just to have a conversation, and I got to call my boy Ron. He called yesterday. He's not your friend. He's not. He does not give a fuck about you if it has to be transactional. If he makes no effort at all to show any type of gratitude, he is not your friend. I want that to be clear. We need to stop letting snakes be snakes. No, we should let them be snakes, but not be affected by it. You know, we got any more videos of? Oh,
message of the
now
day.
at the end of yes. It's about that time, ain't it? Time is it? Been for an hour yet?
105.
Yeah, see, I felt it. I'm in all these shows with a message of a day. Hopefully I trip tonight and we I have another message for you. But again, I want y'all to watch this video. Message of the day is this.
He wanted to be there so bad that he was willing to leave without showering, without change, just get in his car and go because he got out of the mine late. One about that is that he wanted to be there with his son. She said, do you know his beard is red? And I said, what do you mean? He said, that was coal dust in his beard. You got hotels calling, we want to put him up. You got restaurants calling, we want to feed him dinner. You had a car dealership, call them, we'll give you a car to drive out. Think about this. And isn't it neat for someone like that, who's a quiet, humble guy, to know people appreciate you.
Facts.
And we appreciate what you stand for.
We need to see more of this, man. Shout out John
And I
Calipari.
appreciate it because it's how my family got their start in this country.
It's facts. Shout out to the blue collar
I've done
workers.
some things that have been fulfilling for my wife and I. But this, you'd have to say, you're bringing light to a good man, a hardworking Kentuckian, a coal miner
Shout out
who
Kentucky.
does everything he can to make time for his family and his son and his daughter.
And that's a rough life.
This probably was in West Virginia. Coal mining, man. Let me say this, man. That man did not care about what he looked like. He wasn't imaging. All he cared about is that he was able to take his son to a basketball game. Being present.
Just by stopping and showering and all that,
He
he was
didn't-
missing
he
valuable
yeah,
time.
He didn't. He said, "Nah, I'm gonna miss the game. I'm gonna go him up. We're close. We're going right there. Come on, son." Because that's what mattered. He did not matter. His son mattered. He didn't have to put on something fly to stunt for no girls. No, that man is dirty as hell. Soul clean as a mother. Shout out to all the blue collar workers. Shout out, and I'm glad that's John Calipari. That is not the corporations. The corporations jumped on the bandwagon so they can look good, like, oh, they're giving back, which they, but there needs to be more than that. It's not just that man doing shit like that. You watching this video, you do that. Shout out to you. Keep doing it. And you don't do it to get, praise. You do it because that's what the hell you're supposed to. Because it's an abundance of your heart. Imagine if everyone operated like that. Stop caring what people think. Seen and was understanding of what's in front of them. Present. That's my message for you guys today. All you blue-collar workers out there that run this country, because it's not the corporations, guys. This country does not go on without you. I want you to know that. I want you to stand in your power in that. And I have a feeling we will revolt in that. Because what direction are we aiming? Is this the United States of America or the United States of the state that is not real? You rest on that for a second. And next tomorrow or Sunday, I'm going to do an episode just on this. I got a whole bunch of videos. I'm going to go deep because I have to go back and I have to explain my comment I made earlier in this video. Why I said good. And you know what I'm talking about. I love all of y'all. Unity, love, peace, change your reality, change your outcome, change your outcome, change your reality. You already know all the sayings I say. I love y'all.